structural racism that crystallized during the COVID-19 pandemic. My contribution, like the work of others who have attempted to narrate aspects of the anti-racist struggles of the late 20th century, will hopefully help us to better understand where we are today. In apprehending the ways in which the practices of the history I wrote about and the theoretical insights embedded in them are situated on a continuum of courageous struggles against racist police violence, against the deeply embedded racism of the carceral system, and against racial capitalism more broadly, we can begin to recognize the long-term outcomes of struggles that are sustained over generations. Even if these movements have not produced the structural transformations we know we need in order for the masses of Indigenous, Black, Latinx, Middle Eastern, Asian, and working-class white people to begin to enjoy the material and intellectual benefits of life in an advanced industrial society, or even life on this planet, regardless of the level of development in a particular region. They help us to envisage concrete possibilities of such revolutionary changes in the future. This account of radical movements, as well as others of the last decades of the 20th century, pivots around state violence, the violence of the police, the violence of jails and prisons, and the complicated ways these forms of violence infuse the communities they target, sometimes also further enacted by the very individuals who are its victims. Just as the names of Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor will always be etched into the memories of politically conscious contemporaries today, my Southern California comrades of the late 1960s will never forget the names of Leonard Deadwilder, Gregory Clark, and, of course, Jonathan and George Jackson. Of course, the name of Emmett Till still looms large. During the period covered by my autobiography, we were fully aware that we could not treat these cases as isolated instances of racist state violence. And each time we took up a particular case, we were cognizant of the need to understand it as an example of the structural racism that defined the very nature of policing and the racist vigilantism it generated. While we did call for the prosecution of the specific perpetrators, for example, we demanded that Warren B. Carlson be compelled to answer for the murder of Gregory Clark before the existing judicial system. We did not believe that we could root out the deep problems of the racist police and prison system simply by using the existing judicial and penal systems to address issues inherent in their own structures. We nonetheless relied on those systems, so it is true that our strategies had conspicuous contradictions. But because we were also convinced that our work was linked to global efforts to overturn capitalism, we were not especially concerned about these inconsistencies. In fact, we were absolutely convinced that in our own lifetimes, we would experience the end of capitalism and witness the inauguration of new modes of creating security in our communities. Now, from the vantage point of the present, our political naivete seems obvious. But then, our collective aspirations were emboldened by revolutionary struggle all over the world, from the People's Movement for the Liberation